You're listening to the Meaningful Minutes with Nikki Olson podcast. This is a show for busy Latter-day Saint women who want to learn simple tools to feel confident and inspired in 10 minutes or less. Welcome. On this episode, we will discuss why taking a break can help you better hear the Spirit. Well, 8 episodes in, and I'm taking a break. Well, a 10-day break to be exact, and from social media to be more specific. For the past 2 general conferences since starting my business, I've done a 10-day social media fast because running a business on social media can sometimes get my brain all twisted up on priorities, time management, and especially spiritual inspiration. So General Conference is just a great reminder for me to reevaluate, set goals, and learn new ways to grow. I want to be as in tune as possible when I am listening to the conference, because that is where I get most of my inspiration. So a break from social media is my way of doing that. I got the idea from President Nelson's talk he gave in 2018 at Women's Conference. He said, "My dear sisters, you have special gifts and propensities." I had to look that word up. What that really means is a tendency to behave in a certain way. I'm not really sure what he meant by that. Maybe if you know, you could tell me what you think that means. But he went on to say, "Tonight, I urge you with all the hope of my heart to pray to understand your spiritual gifts, to cultivate, use, and expand them, even more than you ever have. You will change the world as you do so." Okay, side note. Did I ever tell you my mission with Nikki Olson Coaching is to change the world by helping women build a relationship with each member of the Godhead? So what President Nelson is telling me is that I need to understand my spiritual gifts so that I can cultivate, use, and expand them. One of my spiritual gifts, I believe, is being led by the Spirit. But sometimes I get mental roadblocks in my way with social media, and I need to remove those. But let's get back on track here. He said that it is a cause that desperately needs women because women shape the future. That's kind of interesting, right? Are you feeling called to shape the world in some way? That doesn't have to be something giant like starting a business or doing something huge, but you were sent to this earth for a divine purpose. And are you feeling that calling? Maybe learning to develop your spiritual gifts could help you do that. So he goes on to say, "So tonight, I'm extending a prophetic plea to you, the women of the church, to shape the future by helping to gather scattered Israel." And he gives 4 ways to do that, but I'm focusing on the one that I'm doing right now. He said, "I invite you to participate in a 10-day fast from social media and from any other media that brings negative and impure thoughts to your mind. Pray to know which influences to remove during your fast. The effect of the 10-day fast may surprise you." And then he goes on to say, give some questions to ask yourself after you fast from social media for 10 days. So he gives these 4 questions. And then at the end, he says, "I urge you to record and follow through with each impression." Now, these questions that he gives are so good. So guess what I did? I created a little handout for you with these questions on it. So it's the link to these questions is in my show notes. And you can just click the link and it will let you download it right away. So you can take a 10-day fast from social media and record your revelations as well. So here's the question. So he gives us 4, and I added a 5th question because I think it will be so good to kind of look back at these. So the first question is, what influences was I prompted to remove during my fast? So remember, he asks you to pray about what influences he wants you to remove. So write those down. And then, what did I notice after taking a break from perspectives of the world that have been wounding my spirit? Interesting, right? After you fast from social media, then it will, you'll start to notice, well, I notice when I'm in that fast that those things that were wounding my spirit, as he says, aren't there, and I feel free from them, and I'm able to identify what those are. And the third question is, what change do I want to make about where I now want to spend my time and energy? Because it frees up so much time, in my case, it did, that you put your time and energy into other things, and you will try out different things because it will be a habit to turn to that social media. So you'll have to come up with new things to turn to. So, I think as you do that, you'll notice, oh, I really did. For me, like I missed reading. I missed just having a book and reading and getting back to that. And I feel like I get back to some of those things. And then by the time conference comes around again, I have slipped up again. And so I need to refocus. So for me, it's really, really good to do it every conference, because then it's twice a year and it's not too long in between times where I get too far off track and from spending my time and energy where I need to. And the fourth question he asks is, what priorities have shifted for me, even just a little? So for me, social media becomes a priority when I have like 10, 15 minutes, right, in between things, or I'm just sitting and waiting somewhere. And so the priority becomes, oh, just scroll Instagram, look at that. And that's probably not my top priority that I need to be doing. There are other things that I can get done in that 10 or 15 minutes. So your priorities will shift as you do that, and you'll be able to see what pops up for you. So it's great to look at that. Now, the fifth question that I added in there are, what are my top 3 actions that I will take to implement these revelations? So after you receive all of that revelation, what are the 3 top things you can start doing to make these shifts change for you, or stick or keep going? So definitely download that handout that I have with those questions. And whenever you take that 10-day social media fast, then pull up that or print it out and write those answers down or revelations that you get. So I won't be dropping a new episode next week, nor will you see me on social media, right? But you can go listen to some past episodes to get some inspiration if you would like. You can check out my website to see all the other services that I offer. And in fact, when I come back from my break, I'm going to be opening a new group coaching program called Removing Roadblocks to Revelation. This program is going to help you learn to remove mental barriers that you have to receiving revelation. Here's a hint. The mental barriers have to do with doubt. Basically, doubting your ability to hear the Spirit throughout the day, or doubting that you actually are getting promptings, or they're just your thoughts, or doubting that you're worthy to receive God's love and power, or doubting that you have time to dedicate to learning how to receive revelation and to hear Him, or doubting that you know how to access the atonement of Christ daily to receive and act on revelation. So essentially, my goal will be to help you recognize, receive, and act on revelation with greater confidence and faith. I will talk a ton more about this next month in April. So make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so you don't miss out on it. Because the first week back, I have a special offer for this program, and you don't want to miss it for that first early bird special. All right, so remember that sometimes the most productive thing that you can do is take a break, reevaluate, and receive new inspiration. I hope these minutes you spent with me were meaningful, helped you feel inspired and more confident. Check out my show notes for links to my website, social media, and free handouts for remembering how to implement the skills. I know there are other women that could use this information. Leaving a review is a great way for other women to hear this message. If you'd like more daily inspiration and guidance, please come find me on Instagram at Nikki Olson Coaching. If you share this episode, please tag me. I love to connect with my listeners. Thank you for listening to the Meaningful Minutes podcast with Nikki Olson.